special dinner for all the folks that work here in the big harbor. So I thought I'd wear my most special bow tie. Tying bow ties can be pretty tricky, but I'm good with knots, you know, being a sailor and all. This is a little harder than I thought it was going to be. Maybe if I had something to tie the knot around. Pencil. There's my pencil. There's my pencil. I think if I put this here like this, I'd be able to tie it around it. Well, at least one needle. There. It's done. I don't think I can tie a bow tie. Wait a minute. Here I am thinking I can't do something, and I only gave it one try. You know, that's just what happened to Theodore. Yeah, he tried doing something that was hard for him to do, too, and it looked like he couldn't do it. So, maybe I better tell you the whole story. See, it all happened the day that Theodore was chosen to be the tug in charge. Theodore was hurrying to the morning work meeting. Today is the day, he was saying. Today, I will be chosen to be the tug in charge. The tug in charge meant that you got to pull ships from up in front, just like Emily. You led the way and gave orders. It was one of the most important jobs to have in the whole harbor. Theodore was just passing Bedford Buoy, so he decided to practice asking the dispatcher if he could be the tug in charge. Pardon me, Mr. Dispatcher, sir, but I was just wondering. No. I was thinking. No. I would like to be. Yes, that's better. Pardon, Mr. Dispatcher, but today I would like to be the tug in charge. I would like to be the tug in charge today, Mr. Dispatcher. The dispatcher was just starting the work meeting when Theodore arrived. Tugboats, said the dispatcher. We only have one ship arriving later today, and I will need a tug in charge. Now, who do we have? The dispatcher looked around at the tug. Theodore was about to say something when George gave a loud blast of his whistle. George, said the dispatcher. Ah, yes, George. You will... excuse me, interrupted Theodore. Yes, Theodore, said the dispatcher. What is it? Theodore swallowed the big lump in his throat. The dispatcher was waiting. Pardon me, Mr. Thinking, but I was just dispatching... began Theodore. I mean, excuse me, Mr. Tug in Charge, but today I would like to be the dispatcher. Today you would like to be me? Said the dispatcher, who was most surprised. No, said Theodore, who was getting kind of muddled. I would like to be... I was wondering if I mean, do you think I could be the tug in charge? There, he had said it. Okay, Theodore, said the dispatcher. Oh, that's okay, sighed Theodore, putting on a brave face. Maybe some other time. Theodore? Oh, man. The dispatcher said you could be the tug in charge. He could, said Theodore. I mean, I did. I mean, I am. Theodore let out a joyful blast of his whistle. Thank you, Mr. Dispatcher, he said. I won't let you down. No, sir. I'll get right on it, right away. Theodore hurried out to meet the ship, filled with excitement. He was going to be the tug in charge, and there wasn't even another tugboat with him. He would be all alone. This is great, he thought to himself. I wonder what kind of ship it is. Maybe it's a container ship. Or maybe it's a giant oil tanker. When Theodore arrived at the entrance to the harbor, he looked this way and that way, but he couldn't see the ship he was supposed to bring in. And then he saw something. It looked like a giant, funny-shaped oil drum floating in the water. Would this be what the dispatcher wanted me to bring in? Wondered Theodore. He looked around again. But there were no ships in sight. Theodore turned back to the strange-looking thing bobbing in the water. I'm the tug in charge of an old oil drum, he said. This wasn't quite what he had in mind. Theodore decided not to even use his towboat. I'll just push it in, he said to himself. a gentle push. The thing wouldn't budge. Now, that's funny, Theodore thought to himself. It's just a little thing floating in the water. I should be able to push it. Theodore turned his engine up and gave his mightiest shove. Well, the thing turned a little, like a slippery bar of soda, and Theodore was sliding right past it. There's something funny here, thought Theodore. That little thing is heavier than it looks. I'll have to use my towboat. Theodore kept wondering about the strange floating thing. There was just no place to tie his towboat. And that's when Theodore began to worry. Maybe I can't bring it in, he thought to himself. Theodore felt like giving up, but suddenly he had an idea. Theodore worked and worked away until his rope was wrapped tightly around the thing. Theodore gave a triumphant blast of his whistle to say, "Theodore, the tug in charge, on the way with a giant, medium-sized, thing." Theodore made his way into the big harbor with the strange thing. It was slow going, because as small as the thing was, it was still tough tugging. Theodore gave another blast with his whistle, just to let the others know the tug in charge was coming. And suddenly, the weirdest, wildest, most awful thing began to happen. The water around Theodore began swirling and whirling, like someone had pulled a plug in a giant bathtub. Only the water wasn't going down. It was something coming up, right under Theodore. And it was pushing Theodore up right along with it. The other tugs turned to watch in amazement, and so did the dispatcher. "Whoa!" shouted Theodore. "The harbor is moving. I mean, I'm moving. Or something is moving. Whoa!" And Theodore realized a strange thing was rising up out of the water, and it seemed there was a lot more of it than met the eye. In fact, it wasn't an oil drum at all. Far from it. It was actually a submarine. A Thumberland submarine. Now everyone in the harbor was staring at Theodore. "What are you doing up there, Theodore?" said Northumberland. "What are you doing down there?" said Theodore. Now, if you don't know, Northumberland is a very sleepy submarine. He had been heading into his dock after a long ocean voyage under the water, when he had fallen fast asleep. Theodore's whistle blast finally woke him up, and he decided to rise to the surface to see what was going on. "Theodore," said the dispatcher, "what is the meaning of this? What are you doing on top of that submarine?" I was just bringing him in, sir," replied Theodore. "It looks," smiled George, "like he's bringing you in." The others smiled too. It was a very unusual place for a tugboat to be. But the dispatcher frowned. "Theodore, that is not the ship I wanted brought in." Theodore felt terrible. He had so wanted to do a good job, and it had gone all wrong. "I guess I'll never be the tug in charge again," he said to himself. Once Theodore managed to get off Northumberland, he floated back towards his dock. He was worried that the dispatcher would have harsh words for him, so